Mike Zweifel today here on WEKZ AM 1260 and FM 95.5 for To The Point. Big session was had, and now we're a chance to talk about it and get to know our future Greene County leaders. We had the first Greene County leader session earlier this week, and let's talk a little about what they learned and get to know who's going to be part of this class this year. Mike Zweifel, of course, here. Let's kind of go around the room doing a little roll call. Greg, you're our first contestant, so to speak, but hey, thanks for coming in here. Greg Gratz, give us a little info on yourself. Where are you from? Where do you work? And how did the first session go?
Hi, I'm originally from Mineral Point. I live here in Monroe now. I work at Colony Brands in Monroe in the bakery and cheese operations. First session went really well. We were in New Glarus and really spent the time kind of discovering what Greene County has to offer, as well as some of our questions and opportunities we feel exist here.
Okay, I got to ask right off the bat, you were prompted or someone at Colony said, hey, Greg, got this great opportunity, Greene County leaders, we want you to take part of it. Your first session was this week. What was it like walking into the door, not really knowing what was going to happen there?
Anytime you go to one of those sessions, I think it's always just a little bit nerve-wracking kind of meeting different people, but I think it was also a little inspiring just knowing that you were there amongst a lot of other leaders within Greene County. And since I've only lived in the community since May of 2020, in the midst of the pandemic, I thought this would be a great opportunity to just kind of get to know other people as well as the different happenings around Greene County that I could be a part of and get more involved.
Okay, fantastic. So you from the area just outside of Greene County, now working in Greene County every day. Talk a little bit about that aspect in terms of you're not necessarily an outsider, but on the Monroe, being in Monroe and Greene County standards, you are an outsider. So what's that been like, learning more about before the sessions, getting to know Greene County through your work?
Yeah, I think with growing up in Iowa County, I'm not too far of a strangler from here, but I did spend most of my career in Missouri and Illinois and Minnesota. And so when I made the decision to come back, it does kind of feel like Greene County is back home, being closer to Monroe Point.
Just talk a little bit about you're from Colony Brands. Usually there's a number of folks from Colony Brands that attend these sessions. Are you the only one from Colony Brands this time around?
Nope, there are actually a few other Colony Brands employees as well here.
Okay, so that make it easier when you go to this type of thing, saying, hey, I got some colleagues. I've got a little system here, and some people I can kind of lean on if I need to.
Yes, that certainly does. Absolutely.
All right, fantastic. Greg, glad to have you aboard here. We'll talk with more about the session with you in just a second. Let's shift over here. We've got Jessica Bistry. Jessica, tell us a little about yourself. Where are you from? Where do you work?
Sure. So I was raised on a dairy farm outside of Monroe in Orangeville, Illinois. I went to high school here and graduated, moved away for a while and came back. I work at Bank of Brodhead in Brodhead. I am their business banking manager and project lead for any new services. And I also serve as the vice president on the board of directors for the Humane Society.
All right. So just across the border, you grew up, then you went to Monroe here, and now you're still in Greene County. Was there much time in between? Did you spend outside of Greene County, or have you kind of always been kind of a homegirl here in Greene County?
Kind of half-half. I actually lived on the island of Guam for 5 years, from when I was 21 to 26. So I've kind of been a little bit of everywhere. But right. Monroe kind of brings you back.
Mm-hmm. All right, fantastic. So with your role at the Bank of Brodhead, you know Greene County. You're in Greene County every day. When this opportunity to attend Greene County Leaders was breached upon you, what was that like, and what was your first kind of thoughts?
I actually wanted to join. I elected to join myself. I've known about the program. I've seen the benefits that it has done for the community, and it's really something that I wanted to get involved in.
Okay, so you took it upon yourself then. Talk about that aspect. Were there past employees at Bank of Brodhead that went through this, or how did you know so much about Greene County Leaders?
I know of about 10 people in previous classes and in previous years. Everybody has had great feedback. In my role at Bank of Brodhead, I'm heavily involved in community, and we do community highlighting. And I thought this was a no-brainer to get involved and get to know other future leaders of this county, learn more about it, and what I can do to maybe help make a difference.
Okay. And do you envision Greene County Leaders being one of those things that will help you both on a social aspect, learning more about folks, maybe garnering a few more friends, colleagues potentially down the line for events, and things like Greene County Humane Society? Also on the same side, maybe help on the professional side, whether it be adventures with some other folks and different business opportunities.
Yeah, so my job is actually very receptive for me to share things that we have done in the session. And in the session, they actually have us sit with people we don't know. They shuffle us around throughout the day. I feel that's very important to network. Also, things that I'm taking from the class, we might implement at my work. So things such as the Strengths Finder that we did in the first session is something that we're actually really looking forward to do in my work.
All right. I'm going to write Strengths Finder down, and we'll come back to that here in just a little bit. All right, Jessica? Let's welcome aboard here our triangle, our three-headed monster, if you will, here attacking Greene County Leaders session number 1. Angie Matthews taking the time joining us here. Angie, thanks for coming in. Give us a little background about you. Where are you from? And also, where do you work and what do you do?
Thanks for having me. I am from Monroe. I work at SSM Monroe. I am the manager of the Heart and Vascular Services Department, and I'm also part of the board for the Monroe Run Club here in town.
Oh, all right. Fantastic. Greene County Leaders, something you approached yourself, or did someone through SSM Health say, hey, Angie, I think this is an opportunity for you?
It was shared with multiple leaders at SSM in Monroe here that it was an opportunity that a few of us could join if we wanted to, and just sounded like a good opportunity for me. I've been new to this role for about a year and a half now, so something that could help me grow in my position that I'm in.
All right. Multiple people, SSM there at this Greene County Leaders group?
Yes.
Okay. Did it help going in day number 1, knowing you knew some folks already?
Definitely. Yes. It was nice seeing some familiar faces, but also meeting lots of new people too.
Well, let's start right with you, Angie. What was session number 1 about? We understand it was in New Glarus. Where at New Glarus, and what was it about?
So we started at the Village Hall in New Glarus. We discussed some of the strengths and issues of Greene County. We also we did a strengths assessment before the session. We all went through what we had for our strengths, kind of worked with each other to see the differences in our strengths. We talked about the leadership legacy, and we also did some team building exercises in the end of our session. We had lunch at the Chalet Land House also, which was fabulous. A place I've never been to before, drove past many times, but never been, so that was nice also.
Let's bring Greg aboard here. Greg, when we're talking about kind of the strengths assessment, was there anything surprising about yourself or kind of as a collective group that you guys maybe learned about yourselves?
Yes, I think those strengths finders are always interesting to do and be a part of. For me, it really kind of honed in on some strengths that other people have told me about in my past with responsibility and discipline. But there were also a couple other strengths that I didn't know I possessed, but could see the correlation. I think what was really empowering about that is not only getting to know my strengths and why we should leverage our strengths just in general as humans, but really also knowing the strengths of the peers around the table and within the group and how we can hopefully leverage those when we go towards implementing our community project and just kind of playing into the strengths of our whole entire team of about 30 people or so.
All right. I want to come back to you, Jessica. Is this part of the Strengths Finder? First question. Was this kind of the Strengths Finder thing, or was this separate?
The Strength Finder quiz was actually distributed to us before the first session, and it is a Gallup survey. And there are numerous questions which you choose right or left. Usually they're very extreme answers and different. And I believe it took about 25 minutes to complete. And then they give you your top 5 strengths. And we all brought those to class or the session, and we all shared with each other, and we made some artwork as well.
All right. When you guys, as Greg was talking about kind of finding more about you, your maybe some strengths you didn't possess, is this something that you would learn about yourself or maybe take this? Is this one of those things you're going to take back to Bank of Broadhead type of thing?
Absolutely. So one of my top strengths was development, and it makes sense, honestly, in my role. I started as the business banking manager only with treasury management products, et cetera. And then I started to find myself leading projects and services and implementing things that the bank didn't have previously, as well as boosting a couple other employees, coworkers of mine, up to a new role and to learn new things with business banking.
All right. You guys, I believe all 3 of you are in kind of a management type of position here. So this is unique to have you guys here. What were some of the big takeaways then? Let's start with you again here, Angie. Big takeaways from the session.
Sure. One thing that I learned from our team building exercises that we did is, along with everyone having such very different strengths, it's very important to consider that when you're working together and approaching everyone differently, using their strengths as a way to work together.
Greg, what was maybe something that surprised you during this whole session number one? What was maybe a big surprising aspect, or maybe the whole thing was surprising, not knowing what to expect? What did surprise you here?
I think a couple of things that stand out to me was just realizing all that Greene County currently has to offer, especially being new to the community. And also, I think just all the great things that people that are past participants of the program have already done for the community. Another big takeaway for me was the exercise we did in terms of our leadership legacies. I'd once been told that when leadership isn't about you, it lives beyond you. And I think this session really honed that in and made me take the time to personally reflect of what do I want to have in my life and on the community as an impact that's going to be sustainable moving forward.
Let's go to you, Jessica. We're just going to go around the room here. What was something that surprised you?
Honestly, it was one of those sessions where you walk away and your brain just keeps going, like a good movie that makes you think about things. They did a great job at keeping us engaged, thinking outside the box, working together. We did some very neat projects near the end of the day where we were outside and they were team building activities, and it really woke you up in a few ways of when's the best time to work together, should somebody be delegated as the leader? And it just got my brain going, and I love it.
Angie, you as well here. What was your big surprise for the day here? A lot of unknowns going into it. You had some experience with some colleagues telling you about it, but what was a big surprise for you?
One thing that surprised me was we learned that I believe it was only 32% of the ag industry is involved in our area. And I was surprised to see that that wasn't a higher number, and that there's so many different types of industries and different managers, different positions in Greene County. And so that was nice to see amongst our group, all the different types of positions and industries that are out there.
All right. Again, we're talking Greene County leaders. They just had their first session this week. Greg, a new learning or appreciation for Greene County? This is not all brand new for you. Coming from Mineral Point, you mentioned a couple times here that you're getting reacclimated to Greene County with the Colony brands. Talk a little bit about that aspect of it. New learning or appreciation for Greene County. What sticks out there for you? I know it's only session one, so you're going to get to know Greene County a little bit more. But
I think it was even just the session we had with the United Way. I've obviously heard of the United Way in different states, but I actually did not know that it existed in Greene County. So I think that was pretty cool just to get that basis of understanding in terms of the different dynamics that exist here in demographics in Greene County, and maybe how we can use that to kind of shape what project we do to impact the community moving forward.
Okay. Have you guys started thinking about a project, or is that a couple sessions away?
We have not yet began thinking about it, but we have kind of ideated in terms of what are some questions or opportunities we feel that Greene County has right now.
Okay. What are you most excited for going forward here with this group?
I think that continued networking with one another. Well, we have quite a diverse group of people that have grown up from all over Wisconsin, Illinois, Pennsylvania, and even a few people that were born in Europe. So it's a highly diverse group, and I look forward to interacting with people moving forward.
All right. It was only session number one, Jessica. Anything that maybe surprised you in terms of what was talked about, maybe some of the speakers or some of the building aspects you guys did, teamwork activities that kind of resonates for you, thinking, I wonder what's next?
I also agree with Greg that our speaker, Teresa Keene, who leads the United Way, really brought some detailed analytical data and statistics that surprised me. And it really shows where our opportunities lie in our county for improvement, and just gives us our ideas on maybe what we can do to help.
What are you most looking forward to going forward?
We're doing something with community involvement where each of us are going to be assigned to go somewhere we've never been before, whether it be a store, an experience, and we're going to be sharing that with the community. And it needs to be somewhere that we've never gone before.
All right. Was there anybody in the group that you didn't know or you knew, but it's been a while since you connected with them there?
Yeah, I think Angie over here was one of them. I went to high school with her. We graduated in, well, let's just say over 20 years ago. But it was nice to see some familiar faces and to see how people really have grown in their careers.
All right, fantastic. Again, thanks for coming in here, Greg, Jessica, Angie. We're not leaving you for last, but you're the next up here. What was something that made you leave thinking, I wonder what's next, or I can't wait for the next session? Talk a little bit about that. What kind of resonates there?
Well, I'd say after kind of going over all of the strengths and issues that we came upon for Greene County, it was left me eager to discuss what our project's going to be. Very excited to come up with ideas for a community project and come up with a team and dig into that.
Okay. Was this about what you expected, or was there a lot of surprises for you session one?
I'd say there were definitely some surprises, learned a lot. And like Jessica said, just afterwards, it just keeps your brain going, thinking about all the things that you learned and all the people you met, and just, it keeps you thinking.
All right. When's the next session, and where are you guys going?
Next Wednesday is our next session, and we will be here in Monroe. We will be at the Mac Center and having lunch at Swiss House.
All right. Well, you guys will get some great food again and get a chance to learn more. Hey, thanks so much, guys, for coming in here today after your first session. I appreciate it. And again, thanks to Victoria and Olivia for setting this up. But best of luck, guys, just getting started. It'll be a lot of fun for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Greg, Jessica, Angie, we got Victoria and Olivia here as well behind the scenes. Again, chat number 1, Greene County leaders after session number 1 right here on WEKZ for To The Point.